All right, so we are now live on Podbean, and we're gonna make this full screenish, maybe, perhaps. Come on, buddy, you can do it.
I believe in you. You have the power. Or you don't have the power, but you're trying really hard.
That was painful to watch. Where's Scott? All right.
Hello.
So what's up, everyone? You're not gonna get much interaction at first. Right now, we have Podbean going for our audio.
Yep.
And God willing, this works. So anyway, yeah, it is working. Welcome to No BS with Scott.
Whiskey and BS.
Both podcasts I do with Pauline and you, they both have the word BS in it.
Well, yeah, it makes sense because your guys' is no BS, whereas ours is completely BS.
So yeah, this is Whiskey and BS with Scott and Jeff.
Cheers, buddy.
It's been one of those days. For those of you watching live, we emptied out this room. We're getting ready to move, so we kind of got this weird, creepy snuff porn thing going on. We got a mattress leaning on the wall here.
Empty room. There's a mattress pad over here. It's a very casting couch.
It's very terrifying.
Got this mustache going, it's appropriate.
The mustache and the creepy mattress.
And the creepy mattress, exactly.
So yeah, this is mostly going to be audio, but we figure what the hell for video. People enjoy it.
True story.
So yeah.
We have not done one of these in months and months.
Yes.
It's been way too long.
We're good at sticking to the every couple months pattern.
We're going to try to make it a couple of weeks and see if we can stick to that.
I know that's right in the shot, but they can live.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
But to start with, today we're drinking Bullet.
Yes.
Bullet whiskey here. We got the rye, the green label. Thank you, Saucy, the @Saucy app. You guys should all do that. Saucy, sponsor us.
Yeah, God, that'd be awesome.
On the back of the Saucy tag, which is what I want to talk about, is why is it that 8 glasses of water a day seems impossible?
I
8
know where this is
glasses
going
of
already.
wine with dinner is easy. Well,
wine tastes better than water.
wine does taste better than water, first of all. Second of all, the tag does say right after that sentence, #truth.
Yes. Well, it's been hashtag.
So I guess that must be
it's
the
real.
truth.
It's the real.
Because water is really hard to drink
It's very true.
for most people.
All right, so so basically we'll start this off with a quick intro. Whiskey and BS is a offshoot of my podcast, A Day in the Life of, which is pretty much anything and everything goes because I actually couldn't come up with an idea or a topic. So it's been everything that started in Colorado with a good friend of mine, Alicia Baruti.
What's up, Alicia?
We should actually do this. Hell, you've been doing a call-in one at your apartment. We should do one with Alicia sometime.
Why not?
There's no reason not to.
There's really not.
So it's called A Day in the Life of, and that pretty much covers everything. Anybody that's followed the podcasts, I did some on New Year's. I'll do some while I'm driving. Some are motivational, some are absolutely absurd. And all of them are for adults. That's the big thing to get across. And then Scott and I, when I moved here, we kind of have our own little subsect of Whiskey and BS, A Day in the Life of. This one is called Whiskey and BS. And I'm not intoxicated. I'm just very discombobulated today. I've been going a million miles an hour, and I'm just now stopping. So anyway, welcome to Whiskey and BS. Scott Segrin, introduce yourself to the people that are hopefully going to hear you bi-monthly.
I'm Scott Segrin, and I've known Jeff for a crazy amount of time, it feels like at this point, considering we met on a project, for anybody that knows the backstory, a really silly kind of honestly bullshit
I always forget
project.
this is how we know each other.
Yeah. We like to pretend that we met on a
On your
project that
project.
we wrote and were shooting at the time, but really the truth is we met on a project that I happened to get cast in and Jeff was also in. And when we saw Jeff, me and my buddy, because I got him hired on as the DP for it, we were like, hey, Jeff's great. He should play our bad guy. And that's the rest is history. Jeff played our bad guy, and here we are. So,
yeah. So Scott and I, it was a creepy. To this day, 5-6 years, none of us have seen footage. There was a trailer.
I mean,
that's all we know is a trailer exists.
The Pride of Wall Street.
Yeah. So we worked on that, and it was a creepy warehouse. Where inside looked like this amazing office space. Yeah, it was really impressive. But in between takes, you could actually hear the homeless people like. It was like bum fights, like out in the alley.
Got
you could
pretty
actually,
aggressive there.
Yeah.
Got
See,
pretty
like
aggressive.
most movies, when you're making a movie, you actually have to the sound person will be like, sound rolling, and then like hold for plane because they gotta wait for a plane to fly over. For us, we're like hold for bum fight.
Yep.
All right, homeless guy A killed homeless guy B. We can start rolling.
Somebody's still yelling, but we can probably shoot anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck it.
So that's how Scott and I met, and pretty much anybody that follows us independently or follows me, because this is my page, you're in for a surprise, because I think in the world of judging a book by its cover, Scott and I are true, what would it be, enigmas?
Yeah.
You'll hear everything from... I can't speak educatedly, knowledgeably about this, but you'll hear everything from Dungeons and Dragons to comic book debates to fitness to motivation to every once in a while we dare to tap into relationship advice.
Sometimes.
That's rare, few and far between.
Occasionally we'll hit relationships or politics or education, things that,
Yeah.
are important, I guess.
So we hey Pauline.
Hey, what's up? What is that? Oh shit.
Can you do that while you're drinking?
I mean,
Oh
I
wait,
can't-
you gotta be like,
can't
wait,
not
aren't
do
those
it.
like gonna kill him?
Well, then I might want to wait on that.
Oh.
Izzy, what are you doing? Get out of here with your bum knee.
So here's Izzy, everyone. You can see her limping. Oh God.
Poor girl.
You don't have to be super quiet, Pauline. Ours is casual.
It's casual as fuck.
I mean, it does look like we're doing this in a
Yeah.
basement. And what was that movie? 8mm.
8mm.
Nicolas Cage.
8mm, yeah.
So there you go. You're gonna see some deep cut, or hear and or see some deep cuts in the movie reference world, because I think at the end of the day, Scott and I are proud movie nerds.
That's true. That is absolutely 100% true.
What should we talk about? Have you seen Justice League yet?
I have seen Justice League.
That might be the topic to start with. Start with the depressing stuff and go from there.
Well, I mean, we saw Batman vs Superman together.
Yeah.
And I told you then, I was like, yeah, it was a movie.
That was an oral blue ball. A-U-R-A-L blue balls right there.
It was a movie,
That's true. It was a movie.
Justice League, I would say, falls firmly in that camp. It was a movie.
I was actually dazzled by bullshit because I'm a stupid... Scott probably will say this behind my back. I'm very blinded by shiny objects when it comes to the DC attempt at competing with Marvel. I've always been DC World, all DC Universe, even before
True.
everything was things. So I'm blinded by the love and hope that they can pull off Batman and they can pull off Superman, because really before Marvel did their thing, you actually had to be kind of a comic book nerd to know Marvel characters.
You really did. You kind of
Like
had to,
most people would be like, I think Spider-Man. Like they wouldn't know for sure, but you think
Yeah.
comic books, Batman, Superman, and
You'd have to follow it. You'd have to really be following it.
Yeah,
to,
and
like,
it's-
know
that's
going
what's-
on.
depressing is that DC has the two biggest franchises, and they can't get it right.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10, their movies blow chunks. Like, Batman is its own kind of exception because there are pieces of movie franchise that are really good,
Yes.
and there are pieces that are really damn bad. Like,
I mean,
first
I've
two
never
Burton
been.
ones are pretty solid.
Well, that was. I think the Burton ones. The novelty was they were the first ones, so that
Yeah.
allowed a lot of forgiveness.
I mean, aside from like the campy 60s Batman.
Yeah.
There's the 60s Batman.
the
movie.
modern attempt at Batman, modern cinema. But yeah, so Scott and I went and saw Batman vs Superman,
Yeah.
and Scott can objectively look at him. I look at him through the eyes of a special needs kid, and I loved it. Depressingly, I loved it.
I tried.
However,
I tried to love it.
my love, I know, I tried to, and I was again dazzled by a new casting. Anybody that follows the Batman universe or the what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of it. Follows the source material that they're trying to do with Batman vs Superman, which is
Yeah.
the Batman, the Netflix series I think it's Batman: The Return of the Dark Knight.
Yeah, Return of the Dark Knight.
And it has the weird little things for references. It had the smaller ears. It was the older Bruce Wayne. It was this thing, and it actually had a fight between Batman and Superman.
The
where
Dark
Batman,
Knight Returns.
I think that's it. Yeah. Not the one, not to be mistaken with the
Dark
Knight
Knight
Rises. It's a lot of weird wording. So I was dazzled by that, but Scott and I didn't go to Justice League together.
True.
But we did go. Thoughts?
Like I said, it's a movie, you know. I mean, one of the problems, which I feel like as a person who knows and pays attention to things, it is very clear that the movie is half directed by one person and half directed by another person, because the movie changes gears very obviously at certain points of the movie, where it was directed by Zack Snyder, and other points where it was directed by the Step-In, which, if I'm not mistaken, was Joss Whedon, actually. Was it Joss Whedon? I think he got pulled in on that. Maybe it's the next one he got pulled in on. I don't know. He got put on one of them. But regardless of who did it, you can really tell when one of them's directing and the other one's not.
Yeah.
It's a very different movie.
Yeah. And even I was listening to Ralph Garman. For anybody that listens to K-Rock or is in LA, quit listening to K-Rock because they fired Ralph Garman. And pretty shady circumstances.
It's the only reason I was still listening.
It actually was. And one of the few stands I've taken in my life was to quit listening to K-Rock the day they canned him. But thank God for him, he started his own podcast. It costs $3 a month. I will find it because I need something to listen to every day. Like, this iPad is going to get, in the course of this podcast, it might get thrown through a window.
I keep seeing him trying to do stuff, and
I'm trying to monitor these questions without having to do this. I hate when people are on live and going, "Let me look at this," and then you can see like their blackheads. Infuriates me.
It's okay.
So
you know
I'm using
what?
this as a monitor.
I'll just lay on the floor close to the laptop and
just
I'll field all the questions.
That's almost creepier. But anyway, Ralph Garman had an interesting review on it, and I can't remember, some of the stuff he pointed out was painfully obvious. Like, the Flash, pretty much the entire time, for being such a smart person, was an idiot. Like, every time, like the running, like the amount of time, every time he was on screen, he had to play the idiot.
Yep.
And any Flash nerds probably found that quite offensive, because Barry Allen is a smart guy.
Yeah,
like, this guy
he's like, got like a wacky sense of humor. Like, I guess you could more or less compare him to kind of, I don't know, Deadpool or Peter Parker, just in the fact that he's like quippy.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got like wit, and he's kind of quick, and he makes jokes.
Yeah, they made him stupid. Yeah. Oh, we'll get into Deadpool. What a jackass. So that was an interesting angle, making him an idiot. He spent the entire movie being the comic relief. And then
that movie, especially because of the director switches and the director problem, like, that movie didn't know what it wanted to be.
God, and now I really wish I could remember what the heck Ralph Garman, he did say. He pointed out some stuff that, like, it was ruined. Oh, like the exposition building, like at the very beginning where they catch a parademon and like throw him on a net, and like wasn't that Dinner Criminal go, "Is this because of the alien?" Like the
they
exposition
just throw out
criminal,
some fucking exposition line, like, "Oh, he suddenly knows this random fucking
and then
idiot."
cut to that way they just saved time basically. Some burglar on a rooftop could actually know the future by saying, "Oh, are they doing this because Superman is buried and we need to somehow raise him back to life, and that's why they're attacking us?" Cut to
man, not to switch gears or anything, but speaking of wild, quick exposition, has anybody? I'm sure people have. Did anybody watch the new Cloverfield Paradox movie on
Netflix?
Finished it.
We should go. Okay, so today's podcast is sequel abortions or sequel abortions, or I don't even know what you want to call them, but we'll just call it that. That'll be today's topic. So, anybody who saw Cloverfield, the first one, the first-person shaky cam Blair Witch, it was kind of cool. You saw possibly some sort of creepy demon.
Some world building that was interesting.
Yeah, some definite end-of-the-world alien, but you're not sure what. So it was kind of like, I don't know, Blair Witch meets alien.
Yeah,
like
a monster
alien.
movie.
Yeah,
you know,
some sort of monster.
Like Godzilla kind of thing.
And
that's the vibe.
on its own, it was pretty cool. And then confusingly comes 10 Cloverfield Lane, which is actually in the universe.
Which is in the universe.
Because I had to do some serious spoiler deep diving figuring this out before I hit play on Paradox.
Yeah.
And
I've seen I've seen Cloverfield. I saw that in theaters. When I saw it, I didn't like it, but I did see it. I've seen it again a few times since then. I like it a lot more.
Well, you saw Cloverfield in theaters.
Cloverfield,
okay,
right. 10 Cloverfield Lane, I actually also liked because it was a very different movie. It wasn't. It has nothing like what I was expecting.
Yeah.
And I like that it was kind of like its own thing.
Yeah.
And then at the end, oh fuck, we're in the Cloverfield world and
universe. Yeah.
She's getting thrust into it.
Yeah.
Like, that's cool.
Yeah, it was a nice little. It was more of a nod. And then you're still like, what's the connection with Cloverfield? I don't get it. And then they go, hey, bend over. We're gonna force this movie into you. Cloverfield Paradox, basically alien. Oh, do you know what it was? Remember Event Horizon?
Yeah.
It was Event Horizon redone.
It's like Event Horizon and Alien had a baby, and it wasn't good.
And Event Horizon, I wonder what Paradox was rated. I want to say R or PG-13. So basically, anybody that's seen Event Horizon with Sam Neill.
And
to date, it is to me the scariest movie I've ever seen. It's
pretty fucked
up. It's a haunted
up.
Spaceship that is possessed by hell.
Yep.
And that doesn't even do it.
It opens
justice.
like a dimension to hell, basically.
Yeah.
Like they travel through the dimension of hell via space.
Yeah, and bring it back with them.
Comes on board. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, and it's awesome. And somehow they're like, okay, we need to somehow make a third movie in the Cloverfield world, and
it feels like
the end is the only tie-in. Like if they would have cut the end, you would have not even think it was a Cloverfield movie.
That's what I'm saying, and I've had this conversation with a few people. Like, it feels like they had this movie script and they wanted to make it. And they're like, yeah, this is cool, but why do we give a shit about this movie if we're going to put money into it? Well, it could be a Cloverfield movie if we make these few tweaks.
All right, cool. We'll show the monster at the end.
Come on, man. And that's the thing. They build it. Like, I know the only thing they did was throw spots about it during the Super Bowl, and then immediately after the Super Bowl, you could go watch it. Great marketing. And why did they do that? The movie sucks, dude.
Yeah.
If they like marketed it leading up to the movie, people would be like, "Oh, I'm so amped for this. Go watch it." What a piece of shit. That's what would happen. I mean, I'm just saying. The reason for that being is they also bill it even for the short-lived amount. They bill it as the reason everything happened. Like, find out why all the... you don't find out shit. None of it makes sense. It doesn't connect to anything.
Yeah, basically, and again, all of our podcasts are spoilers.
That's true.
Spoilers and for adults. Basically, the way they tie it in is it's this huge cop-out of it's a dimension in a universe that you can't explain, so pretty much that allows you to explain everything. They're like, it's an unforeseeable thing that can't be explained that historically has never happened, and as a result, that's what they answer the why with this.
They answer the why
because,
with a why.
Yeah, they're like, well, this because this happened.
Why? Because why?
Yeah. So how did we even get to Cloverfield Paradox?
Because I was saying, like, a movie that has wild exposition just thrown.
Oh yeah. We were talking about Justice League, how they needed. You could tell the writing went to shit because they had a burglar in the opening scene. Again, the way they edited it and cut it and shot it, they might not have meant to do this, but the burglar in the opening scene was something like. He should have just been like, "Oh, you got me," but he said something like, "Oh, is this because of the alien man has been buried?" And it just was like, "Yes, this is the case. You were a very astute
Here's this
bad
character
guy."
giving you a recap of what happened,
exactly.
in case you didn't know.
Yeah. And so it was just a painful building of exposition, and then Ralph Garman pointed out something like, "This made me sad because I'm very blind to wanting this stuff to work." So Batman throws a net on him.
Yep.
A net.
A
String and hooks. And the guy self-implodes.
Yep.
Yet, at the end, they don't all decide to, hey, we just throw nets on all these guys in Russia chasing this poor family and let them kill themselves. Instead, there's this huge armored personnel carrier running around this thing with Aquaman flying through the air when they could have just been throwing nets on things. And of all people, Aquaman would have a net.
Of all people, he would have the net. You're right.
So, yeah.
Paradox, though. The reason I even brought that up was because I started that movie hopeful. The movie starts off and it's two people in a car talking about like really tense shit, and you're like, oh, this is cool. This is different. We got different people in the world this is happening in. All right. And then all of a sudden, we're on the space station.
Yes.
And after maybe a couple of minutes of brief, here's everybody that happens to be on the space station, guess what? The next 5 minutes of opening credits are also your flashes of exposition, so you know what's happening, because we're going to keep throwing the fucking images at you until you are sure of what's going on.
Yeah, it was painful. It, again, the more it went on, the more I was like, if this were rated R, this would be Event Horizon. And for those of you who haven't seen it, watch Event Horizon if you like actual... Again, there are the movies that are more like you have to fill in the void. Like, for me, Blair Witch Project, because I have a fucked up brain, I could actually build a creepy universe, and I was like, it made me scared. My mom watched it, and she didn't get anything out of it because she has a very innocent mind, and so she couldn't fill in the unknown voids with creepy stuff. So for her, it was extremely boring. Event Horizon you have to fill in, but at the same time, you are forced to see some pretty heinous stuff. And then add to that,
it does.
I freeze frames frame by frame.
Yeah.
The video log, like, you know, it says like the captain's log.
Mm-hmm.
If you're feeling pretty disturbed or want to be very upset, they watch what happened to the original crew of the spaceship, and they watch it, and the way they edit it is a bunch of strobe lights and flashy. I had on Blu-ray, went frame by frame. Oh, it's horrible. It is so disturbing. It's
seriously upsetting.
It's very upsetting. And so, upsetting. But yeah, that's basically what Cloverfield Paradigm was. And so anyway, we were going on. Some people mentioned, good, actually, Green Beret buddy of mine said, I thought Ben Affleck was actually better in Justice League than Batman vs. Superman. I think I agree.
I don't agree.
I'm blind by it. I honestly am blinded by... I think I can subjectively say this, but I might have a man crush on Batfleck. I think he's the perfect casting for, outside of me, the old Batman that they're trying to capture in that comic book. I want to say Batman 66.
I'll say this. He's not a bad casting choice. Like, I was skeptical at first.
It's hard because it's Ben Affleck. If we didn't know who Ben Affleck was, I think it'd swallow better. But...
mostly, between the two movies, I liked how they approached Batman in Batman vs. Superman, and how Bruce Wayne is approached in that as well.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was really well done the way they did that. But, like I said, and it's more the director problem for Justice League. I mean, the script's not good either, but the director problem, now you got the Ben Affleck Batman trying to be more funny and more campy than he was in their established Batman vs. Superman. And it's like, okay, now you're pandering to a crowd.
Yeah, exactly.
Do your character and stick to your guns.
Well, the problem is
don't.
Yeah, look at I think Ralph Garman again said this. I'm really licking his butt tonight. But the thing is, they tried to do what Marvel spent 10 years. Well, I think it was their 10-year anniversary. Like, if anybody's been watching online or super nerding out, they did a 10-year class photo of everybody that's in a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
So they've invested 10 years in building these characters. Look at Tony Stark in his first Iron Man. He nailed that character. He had a couple quips and this and that, but he didn't swing too left and too right. And then as the series went on and they plugged him into different universes, he was a little bit more quippy and a little bit more campy. DC tried to hammer in 10 years of work into one movie. And Affleck couldn't keep up with it. Batman couldn't keep up with it. They have this quirky... I wanted it to work so bad.
And see, you know, another big problem is, too, it's like the studio problem, for example. Studios are trying to push out these movies because they're like, yeah, people want to see this, but they don't give a shit if they're pushing out garbage because people are going to buy the ticket and put their butts in the seats.
And yeah,
they don't give a shit.
What was the movie? The new Star Wars, where you could almost tell that they were writing, they wrote the movie for toy sales, like those little Flurby things.
Oh, that is
you could totally tell that was for toys.
That actually wasn't for toys, ironically.
What?
The only reason I'm even gonna defend, like, I fucking personally, I know this is sacrilege to a lot of people who love them, I think the Porgs are garbage.
I agree.
I think they're straight up garbage.
Huge waste.
The only reason they're in the movie is because they were shooting on that island. and they had the puffins on the island, and they weren't allowed to move the puffins or do anything to the puffins, period.
Wait,
Even if
in
they
real
happened to
world there were penguins?
Real world, the little puffin birds.
So they CGI'd these things over those?
Yes. Every time you see a puffin in the shot, it's an actual puffin that they just CGI'd into a pork.
Okay.
And they wrote them into the script because they had no choice because they couldn't move the birds. And I'm like, okay, I get why you did it. I still hate them.
But stand corrected.
That's one thing that, making lemonade out of lemons, I
stand
guess.
Corrected.
They made it work for their movie, even if it was terrible. They made it work. I fucking love Rian Johnson, and there's a lot of that movie that I like, and there's a lot of that movie that I fucking hate.
Okay, we'll go to that's another realm actually on topic, but we'll finish up the DC world. Somebody had a good point here. Don says DC might stand a chance if they would go R-rated once.
If they did, they might, but they won't.
Yeah.
They're gonna keep hemming and hawing about it and getting as close to an R rating as possible.
So for those of you,
without actually doing it,
comes across bordering on pompous, but the biggest thing is at the end of the day, and this kind of will go on to a couple side topics of multiple things in the film industry. So at the end of the day, somebody wants to make as much money as possible. Mm-hmm. They don't care about accuracy. They don't care about the things us as fans and us as wannabe actors care about. They care about as much money as humanly possible. So with that in mind, a PG-13 allows kids under 13 to go to the movies, which means lunch boxes, toys, kids that'll go on the weekends. It opens up an audience, so they will bastardize a product to get more people in the seats, thus making more money.
True story.
So you can't fault them for doing it. A perfect example is Deadpool going rated R, and it was a ballsy risk, but it obviously paid off,
man.
And but it's a payoff that compensated for the lack of under 13 audience they're going to get. But they know there's probably kids that are going to sneak in. Now that the Blu-ray's out, now that the DVDs are out, they're going to still watch it anyway. So it was a risk.
And parents are going to have their kids watch it anyway. Because speaking, by the way, I can say this as an educational professional.
Scott teaches children.
Which probably boggles minds, especially with this mustache right now. But you know what? I teach kids, and frankly, parents... And maybe
just don't understand.
Maybe those of you listening will disagree, and that's fine. But in my experience to date, and I've been doing this teaching thing now about 8 years, parents don't really give a shit what their kids are watching, as long as their kids are quiet. So they'll take their kids to shit they shouldn't see. They'll buy tickets for movies without actually doing their research. And then take them in there and either walk out and offended because they didn't do the goddamn research, or they let their kids stay. And they're like, well, it can't be worse than the video games they're playing.
Yep. And yeah, then again, there's video games. I mean, there's also, again, money. That was a side note we got to get back to Star Wars. Yes. But another thing, I posted this today on social media. I was kind of sick of it, but I actually kind of shoot myself in the foot. A lot of people are like, well, doesn't that shoot you in the foot? And I posted something about hire the best actor, hire the best performer. Screw their special skills, screw their prior life. There's a lot of stuff where it says you have to have prior physician experience, and there's a lot of veterans that are saying you should hire vets first to play veteran roles. Yeah, that's a bonus, but if they're shitty actors, don't hire the veteran. Hire the actor, because that's their job is to... It's
do
called
the
acting.
Research, do the part.
It's called acting. I mean, yeah, if you can get a good actor that has, I mean, again, this is a little pedestal-y for both Scott and I, but let's say Scott wants a role as a teacher. Scott's funny as hell, and he's a great actor, and he's been a teacher, so he can bring more to it. I think I'm a decent actor, and I have a veteran experience, so cool. If there's a role where a guy actually has to carry a weapon and look like he's competent and actually act with other people, bonus. But don't force special skills. And I posted that, and people are like, well, Jeff, doesn't that backfire because you are a veteran and you want to get roles that are made, like The Punisher or any other movie where they want the character's veteran? No, not if there's a better actor.
Yeah.
So
do the best thing for the movie.
Yeah, which, and again,
not the best thing for the pocketbook.
Yeah, exactly. But sadly, the world we live in, the pocketbook is going to win.
It's all bottom line.
That's why Tom Cruise is going to play a 6.5 foot tall Jack Reacher. That's why Batman.
And it's not that he's even bad at it. It's just not. That's not the point of it.
So that's why at the end of the day, money is going to make the world go around. And I mean, you can go even without getting too deep and crazy, who was it? God, Terry Crews, big black guy from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He made a comment. I'm going to completely bastardize it. He made a comment because he's actually claiming harassment, sexual harassment in his career by producers, kind of the male reversal of the Me Too stuff.
Yeah.
And he made a comment that said something like, it was something along the lines of, I was going to take it knowing I could use this, get to my career, and bury them later. And it's a fucked up world. It's a fucked up industry where that is the case. Mm-hmm. I mean, and that money makes this city go round, and I'm not justifying anything. But if you play, again, one of my hashtags is Hollywood Seer, or and I look at it that way of survival, evasion, resistance, and escape within this city. If you're playing the long con or the long game, don't do anything heinous or immoral. But if you can win at the stupid game that is fueled by finance in this city, you can come around and pull in Uma Thurman and bury the Weinsteins. You can come around and bury the people like Terry Crews is doing.
Affect some
but it's a choice
at a bigger level.
You had to take because the city is sadly run on that stuff. And those people, I mean, I'm not speaking for Uma Thurman or whomever is in the Me Too movement, but they're sitting there going, they can be famous, all their dreams can come true if they... I mean, what's the comedian's name from Parks and Rec?
Oh man, which one?
He whacked off in a plant or he whacked off in front of a girl in a hotel.
Louis C.K.
Yeah, Louis C.K. Made some poor girl watch him whack off. Shit, this is gonna be. Side note, this is gonna be part of one of my stand-up. This is one of the things I want to incorporate in my stand-up. If somebody says, "Hey, I'm gonna make me watch you whack off. I'll make you rich and famous, and all your dreams come true," I'll be like, I got 20 minutes.
How long is this going to take you to achieve?
I mean, I'm like, I've seen way worse things on this planet. And you can't fault those people.
It's a shitty reality.
Yeah, and these people made the choice. And again, there's obviously way worse scenarios that we don't know about. There might have been forced sexual stuff, forced sex, rape, etc., etc. But I'm talking more the non-hands-on, just witness stuff. The city's run on money, and if people can wisely play that game, props to them. It's retarded.
I mean, people have, and people are going to continue to. Yeah, people have, and people are going to continue to. But like, that's the whole point of this: is we have to all make a stand against this kind of shit because it's ridiculous. It shouldn't be allowed to happen.
Yeah, there's been a point of just surviving the game and playing the game. Don't hate the player, hate the game. But now it has pushed it. The whole Me Too stuff. There has been a line crossed by some sick, fat bastards in this industry that are ruining it. They're not just they're messed up. So anyway, that was a long rant. We got done with Batman, Superman, DC Universe. Poor bastards are trying. Star Wars. I'm jaded.
This is a tough one.
Yeah, I know. I'm jaded. Like I saw the Solo stuff. I'm just a purist.
Yeah.
And I'm a hypocrite because they want to make money and they got a new audience. They got younger people that don't even know who Harrison Ford is and don't even know who the original Han Solo is. But they got to make a new Solo movie, and they're gonna make bajillions of dollars. But is there a point where they saturate the world with Star Wars? Did you hear this? So there's Solo. There's a standalone movie by Ryan What's-His-Butt.
Ryan Johnson.
There's a standalone movie world or universe by another guy.
Yeah, so Ryan Johnson's getting his own trilogy, which I'm all for. Like, say what you will about The Last Jedi. Even if you fucking hated it and you're well within your rights to do so, you are more than welcome. I'm not going to fight you on your hatred. However, as much as you might hate The Last Jedi, it's the first Star Wars movie to be its own fucking movie. Things changed in it. Things got different. They didn't just stick to the same fucking formula. Things changed.
True.
And that's good. We need change in these franchises. If they stay the same, they get boring to watch. Every Marvel movie's not exciting to watch because they're only gearing up for Infinity War. So no matter what you watch, whatever happens at the end of this movie, the good guys are going to be okay. The bad guys are going to be defeated because we're still launching towards Infinity War. There's been some good Marvel movies. There's been some really shitty ones. But either way, the characters are never actually in danger because they all have to get to Infinity War, where maybe they'll die. Maybe.
Well, what was it Civil War?
Yeah.
Where we did What's-His-Butt die?
We didn't lose anybody in that fucking movie. Who are you talking about?
What was the movie? The black dude that was in
what?
He was the
War
original.
Machine.
Yeah,
Don Cheadle?
Yeah. Didn't he get like?
He got
Did he just get beat
hurt.
up? Oh.
He's not dead. He got hurt. That's it.
Yeah. So here's a good point. Side note, because I want to involve the two people that are watching. Not really. I've had my son watch the originals. That's blasphemy. I'm not sure what you're referring to, but
Yeah, I don't know what the blasphemy is referring to.
yeah, watch the originals because I think even if they're the remastered Blu-ray runs that have a lot of weird, stupid, wasted effects, like Han Solo stepping on Jabba the Hutt's tail.
Look, Empire Strikes Back is the best Star Wars movie. It has not been defeated.
Yeah,
And if you challenge me on that, congratulations, bring it on. I'll fucking win. Empire Strikes Back is the best Star Wars movie, period. Last Jedi is the closest thing to an Empire Strikes Back we've gotten in like 10 years.
Yeah.
It's the closest thing.
Yeah.
They change the rules. They talk more about the Force. They go more into mythology instead of sticking to the same bullshit we've been used to.
But if you think now, Devil's Advocate, so we got all these standalones. We got Solo. Is there another standalone coming out?
So Rian Johnson gets his own trilogy. I'm all for that.
Those
it's
are
gonna have
standalone in that they
nothing
have
to
nothing to
do
do
with
the
Luke
world we know.
Skywalker.
Okay, so
And
it's like a
I'm
standalone
great.
trilogy.
That's great. The two like the main writers from Game of Thrones also
That
have a new trilogy.
that's what I was thinking of.
I don't know what the hell to feel about that because I like Game of Thrones and all, but I don't know that those guys should have a Star Wars.
Well, wait, what makes? Well, okay, now this is a chicken and egg scenario. What makes Star Wars Star Wars? You get rid of the things that establish Star Wars,
right?
Which
if we're going into
Skywalker
something completely
and Vader.
new, that's the thing. Is like people are like, well, it's the characters. This isn't how Luke should have been. Okay, how should Luke have been then? I would love to hear. How should Luke have been? A perfect Jedi Master who's good and incapable of doing wrong? That's boring. That's super boring.
I didn't
and
see
plus,
that. I didn't see that.
Frankly,
coming.
if you're a true Star Wars fan, all the extended universe stuff, which yes, they took it out of canon, and I don't give a fuck. The original Star Wars universe stuff, after Return of the Jedi, Luke goes back to the Emperor because he's still alive, joins the dark side to defeat him, but pretty much all the same shit happens. He starts a temple. He trains new Jedis. There's dark Jedis who come and fuck shit up. He has to pose as a Darksider, fuck everybody's lives up, and then eventually kill Palpatine again. Before Luke and Leia have kids, and then they have kids, and then there's more drama with that bullshit, and one of their kids still goes to the dark side. Nothing has actually really changed.
But now, who's with me in that? Like, I've never liked Luke. Like, I've always watched Star Wars for Han Solo. So the minute he died in whatever the hell, I just blanked out what it was called. I'm out.
Awakens.
I'm out. The minute he killed by the big nosed.
Yeah.
Vidal Sassoon hair.
Don't get me
Darth
wrong.
Vader.
I as an actor, I like him. I think he's not right for the part he's got.
I mean, he throws a really good tantrum.
Yeah,
he's really good at
guess.
that, and he's a Marine, so I'm supposed to support him.
Again, I like him as an actor. I don't think he was a good choice for that role. I don't think the guy they picked for the Han Solo movie is a good choice either. And
What
maybe
was the
I'll be
movie
wrong.
he was in? Hail Caesar.
Hail Caesar and a couple other things.
Yeah, he doesn't have that. He has more of a boy band
He
look than a
might be.
swash.
You know what? He might bring Han Solo to life as a young Han Solo. I don't know. I haven't seen the movie. Maybe he'll fucking kill it.
Yeah.
But he doesn't look like Han Solo to me. I'll say this.
He looks like a boy band.
Donald Glover as fucking Lando is awesome.
Yeah, that
I
was
think
spot
that's
on.
cool. That'll be fun
Yeah.
as fuck to watch. I don't know have anything I do like
Here's
I don't know
what-
much
okay.
about the story. I wasn't involved invested in the Han Solo movie when I first heard about it.
I was.
I will say this. It's really fun, especially from the trailer, to see that they're going to do a lot more of the Imperial things, which Han Solo was supposed to be an Imperial pilot, and then he changed sides.
Yeah.
So that's fucking cool. I'm
What
glad
I-
to see that.
Here's what I'm getting sick of. Like, within, I think, 3 minutes of the opening of The Last Jedi, where that pilot was doing the joke. Oh, I'm still here. I'm on hold. I'm waiting. Is that
Oh,
you?
yeah.
Modern
Poe
jokes
Dameron.
with
Star Wars Yeah.
don't work for me. I was done. Like, that ruined the movie for me.
I thought that
couldn't-
was funny. I thought that was funny.
It was funny, but it had nothing to do with the Star Wars humor. That wasn't a joke. Like, even when Star Wars was made in the late 70s and 80s,
Yeah.
jokes that were modern for the culture of the time, 70s, 80s, and late 80s, weren't forced into Star Wars. There
True.
weren't jokes about, like, not one person went peace. Not one person went whatever, not a single joke was forced into the movie. But though that joke, whatever the dude's name is, that is a joke that we in 2018
It's like
do with each other.
it's
That's
very
something you
much
can
a
see on.
contemporary kind
Yeah,
of
you can
joke.
see that on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. You know.
And that's the thing is like with the Last Jedi, just like with the Force Awakens. Force Awakens wasn't a good movie. It was basically just A New Hope again. That's all the Force Awakens was.
Yeah,
it was
somebody
exactly
do like
A New Hope
play-by-play
again.
where.
It's almost exactly the same movie.
Yeah, Rebels, planet blows up.
A New
and they
Hope is
escape.
great, but giving me A New Hope over again with new characters isn't great. It's
there
it's
will
a
be
try.
spoilers for those of you. Not obvious. Sorry.
Well, we're talking about The Last Jedi. We're not really giving spoilers.
Yeah, we're kind of all over
Like
the
so
place.
far, we literally have not given a single spoiler.
Unless you didn't know about Han Solo.
But Han Solo died in Force Awakens,
There's your spoiler.
which came
I'm
out.
not sure what you're talking about.
Not to be a dick, but that movie came out 3 years ago, so that's on you.
Has it been 3 years?
Yeah, at least 2. Either way,
I would look it up, but I have archaic Apple products right now, so they'll probably just crash.
if you haven't seen a movie that came out 2 years ago, that's on you.
Yeah.
Sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. That came out 2 years ago. Get your shit together.
So I had interesting topics. Let's see. So we covered. See if I dare look at it. We covered DC. Ooh. While I'm waiting for God only knows what to boot up, did you see the new Deadpool stuff?
Yes, I think it's hilarious.
I know.
I'm excited.
I'm so bitter. But
Fact,
it's awesome.
Like,
And
however you
Nolan
feel.
will probably pull it off.
Oh yeah, he will. However you feel about the cable casting, like I think
That's
Brolin,
that's
Brolin can
jealous
do it.
actor Jeff.
But I think the trailer gave me hope because Deadpool I was excited about and I really love Deadpool, I really do. But the sequel I was worried about because inevitably sequels aren't typically as good as the first one, or they're way better than the first one and then they have a trilogy and the third one sucks.
Or they're a repeat.
Yeah, or that.
Which
So this looks definitely 1 different. 2, they're hitting some very important comic lore with those characters.
Yeah.
3, they're keeping their amazing sense of humor about fucking everything, and that's so
in the trailer,
important.
what was the one where what's his name when he's not Deadpool?
Wade Wilson.
Wade Wilson when he's in Wade, he doesn't have his hood on, he's all melted and all that, and the blind lady's pointing the gun that way, and he turns her arm. I'm just like, yes.
I mean, I lost my shit, frankly, just when he's got the green screen sleeve, and he's like, "What the fuck? Hold on a minute. What is this? We need to render this shit." Okay.
Ryan Reynolds,
then he starts playing with the dolls.
Ryan Reynolds was born
Too good
to play Deadpool. There's no question.
It's like a perfect trailer and a perfect way to go into that movie. Even if obviously him playing with dolls probably not in the movie, and it doesn't need to be. It's perfect.
He's a special human being. I'm waiting for this to load. What back to Justice League. Mr. Beard and Gray my more famous doppelganger. At the end of Justice League, Sable. What the hell's his character's name? Joe Magliano. However you say his name. Deadshot's.
No, he's Deathstroke.
Deathstroke. They're bringing Lex Luthor back. No.
I don't want to get into that. I like Jesse Eisenberg. I hate the Lex Luthor they gave us. I don't know what that was supposed to be.
Yeah.
I don't know who Jesse Eisenberg was trying to be or what the direction for that was, but that was not Lex Luthor. Not even... I can't even accept it as a modern update on Lex Luthor. I just can't. Like, Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor in Superman Returns was rough enough.
Wait, Kevin in Superman
That's
Returns?
right. Brandon Routh, Superman
Holy
Returns. God. The first big Superman comeback movie they did. Kevin Spacey was Lex Luthor. And, obviously it's taboo to talk about Kevin Spacey these days.
Yeah.
For very good
reasons. Did they get rid of his masterclass?
They did. His masterclass. I did too.
Doesn't detract. He's a good actor.
He's a good actor.
Shit!
He's just a piece of shit human,
he
apparently,
just loves
which
little
is
boys.
always a bummer. That's the other thing too about this last couple of years. You know that it's the saying from The Dark Knight.
So sad.
It's the saying from The Dark Knight. You either live long enough to die a hero or see yourself become the villain.
God damn it, you're so right.
I mean,
Oh,
half.
man.
Like, it's really upsetting that so, like, literally, not just Kevin Spacey, but so many, you could call them heroes of various people, especially in our industry.
Why? I
You
mean,
can call them heroes.
I'm not saying that
and they're
Weinstein
all
was a
fucking
hero,
awful.
but how much does his company own? All the Kill Bills, anything to do with Pulp Fiction, anything to do with...
And every time something like this comes out, you just have to sit there and go, who else had to go through this shit?
Yeah. Do you have your phone? I can't look at any of my stuff. Can you look at our... Google invited you, right?
Let's see.
Look at our calendar thing, because I had some topic ideas.
Well, let's find out.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Google Calendar?
I thought I invited you.
Did you put it on the calendar? This is the part of the podcast where we get real clerical for a minute.
Clerical.
I think it's my goal now, just because of the past few. Like, we haven't done this in a while, but if by the end of this podcast I have at least one person watching that hates me, I think I've done my job. Because I'm challenging
That's
what
my
you
new-
believe.
I sound like I'm totally humping them, but like Joe Rogan was... I'd already done this, but it reaffirmed something Joe Rogan was talking about on his podcast, how he goes, he hates being friends with actors because they're so terrified of their image, making all these decisions. He goes, I can't remember the actor he was bringing up, but he brought up some actor that he said, hey, come hunting with me. And the actor goes, oh, no, I can't. Because that actor
Because
knew,
it'll be poorly received.
It's like,
if
oh,
he's a
so-and-so
hunter.
hunts and kills animals. And then I was like, you know what? I'm tired of this. That's where I did the whole... I'm doing that whole Welcome to Boz cause.
Yep.
You know, I'm bringing it back. But yeah.
Let's see.
Can I write a note or something?
Ideas. You do have a Google Doc in here. Let's check it out.
Oh, my back. My back.
My back feels great. I've been doing my yoga.
I have not been doing my yoga.
Let's see. Whiskey and BS. That's us. Okay, DVD and commentary.
Could this be any darker?
Logan. Oh, sorry. My screen. Like, I have low battery. I turned my brightness all the way down. I mean, we've talked about it.
I wrote something in the calendar, but it's not coming up on this. No big deal.
Jack Reacher. Let's like it. Who we are. How
Yeah, that's old. I wrote something specifically in today's,
today.
but my calendar is not cooperating.
For today?
Yeah.
I don't have that for today.
Look at your calendar. For me.
Well, that's where I got this originally.
Scroll
This
down
is
a little
for
bit more.
today. This is all I got. Ideas, etc. Let me check the other one because there's two.
Yeah.
No, same thing.
Me running. Whatever.
Same thing.
Too much technology.
Whatever. Anyway,
Jeff, what part of the movie are you talking about? You can be great Marvel's cast.
which part of what movie?
I'm not sure. I know you're playing catch up, Karen. Well, here's the thing, and this will be for both Scott and I and everybody that's ever followed us or is catching up on podcasts, is friends and family. We love it when you say, this movie's for you. You should totally be in that.
Oh, fuck, dude.
Vikings, any Marvel movie, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Walking Dead.
I know what you're saying.
Anything with
I
Joe
know what you're saying.
Magliano.
The phrasing
It's-
is like this. You'd be great in this. Why don't you go out for that?
And it's
That's
appreciated.
not how it works.
I know. And don't ever stop saying that stuff.
Yeah,
because
like,
it is
we
very
appreciate
supportive and
it,
appreciative.
Definitely.
But the one thing, and this is hard coming from either ignorance, not in an insulting way, or a world of military or firefighting background where work equates results. That's not how it works in this silly city. You know, like I saw something, Tom Hanks is casting his next movie, and he's doing a PR spin, like he's looking for real vets, and you click on it, he needs extras.
Yep.
And extras basically are the people you see the back of their heads, and they stand around pressing buttons on some console in a military movie.
Or they're in a crowd or something.
Yeah, so extras, no disrespect to people that do extra work, they populate the universe in the background. They're drinking coffee, they're walking back and forth behind the main actors.
Yeah.
To get an audition for the big roles in the big movies, in whatever movie you say Scott and I should be in, or our friends should be in, or whatever, you have to know the right people, you have to have the right agent, because some auditions, they actually don't release to B, C, D, and E level agents. That's just the nature of the beast. How some no-name guy gets an audition for, to play Han Solo, or not Han Solo, that's not a good one. The smart-ass guy in The Last Jedi that I hated his opening jokes.
Oh, Poe Dameron?
Yeah. I have never heard of him in my life.
Oscar Isaac?
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised you haven't heard of him.
No, my bad. Bad example.
He's pretty good.
Okay, bad example. But basically, those actors that all of a sudden seem to come out of nowhere, somehow they got an audition invite. Whether they did, it's who you know, or what agent. There is no recipe, which is what is frustrating.
Which agent can get you the part?
Yeah.
Which agent can't get you the part?
Like I'll even find stuff. No, not knocking my agent specifically, but I'll even hear because of my stunt connections about like Venom when it was being done with Tom Hardy. They're like, hey, they need this, this, and this, and I'll contact my agent. They're like, they're shooting Venom. It's like, yeah, they've been shooting it for like 6 months, and it's just because of my stunt connections. I know they're shooting it, but they didn't release it to. Unless you have like Tom Cruise agent, you won't know about it. So
it's a regular thing where we find out about projects that are shooting that we didn't know they were happening.
Yeah, and they don't come out on basically the classifieds for actors. They call them the breakdowns. Those don't come out. It's extremely frustrating. I know for a fact, I just forgot his name. The main, he was in the first several seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He was the tall, good-looking guy.
Oh, the Agent Ward?
Yeah, Ward.
I don't know his actor name.
I literally had an audition for that guy, and I was an inch too tall.
I know.
I
remember.
And that's one of those ones where I had a chance because they wanted a quote-unquote no-name, but I was just too big. And that's a prime example of you never freaking know, but at the same time. There's also non-realities because I would cast Jeffrey Dean Morgan as, I just blanked his name, Negan. Over Jeff Bosley as Negan because Jeffrey Dean Morgan is a known name, known quantity, goes back to earlier in the podcast, makes money.
Yep.
Jeff Bosley actor, sad. Jeff Bosley producer, gets it. So it's a frustrating world we live in.
It really is. Like I had a Modern Family audition that I had for a character that
I'm not licking Scott's butt, but this dude needs his own sitcom. He needs to be on Modern Family. There's no doubt about it.
Like I like Modern Family just generally as a show. It's not the best show ever, but I had an audition for that show, which by all rights I shouldn't have fucking gotten, but I got it. I did, and I went and I did the thing, and it's weird, man. This industry is fucking weird. They tell you one thing when they really mean another. And I got in the room. I did the lines that I was supposed to do. I even felt good about it. That's the catch-22. When you go into the room and you actually feel good about what you did, which is rare, by the way. You usually walk out of the room going, that sucked. But I felt pretty good about what I did. And they cast this guy who literally was completely opposite of the description of the character. Completely opposite. And he must have did something in his audition that set him apart.
Yeah.
Like, kudos to him. No disrespect. But, like, the character is described as like a... What was it? Fuck. It was like a creative type. That's what they put it. Creative business professional type. And I went in there doing that, and the description even had listed as, like, dark hair.
Yeah. It was you.
Yeah, it was me. And they cast this redhead dude with glasses who, in the show, the character he's playing is very inconsequential, so it doesn't really matter, honestly. But I was like, that's super confusing.
Yeah.
That's not at all what the description said.
Yeah.
But they went with that guy, so like all I can think is he must have did something in his audition that
changed their mind.
Really changed their mind. Good for him.
Yeah. Well, here's a perfect example.
But that's how this business goes, And you just never know.
And this is fresh from yesterday. So I'm very fortunate to be taking a class from the casting director of SEAL Team. If you haven't seen SEAL Team, episode 13, spoiler, I die.
Spoiler, he dies. Spoiler, we almost...
In an awesome way, though.
It sounds like we almost had... We could have changed that, but it didn't happen.
But, again, I'm still sticking to my guns. You don't see him die.
That's true.
And in real world, you actually push the interpreter into the building first, because if something blows up, you have a human shield. So anybody that hasn't seen episode 13, I can't remember the word, the show, the episode title has the word get something. Get Out or Get Out of the Way. I can't remember.
called.
But anyway, go watch it. I'm in the opening scene. The whole episode is about me. We'll get to that later, actually. But anyway, I'm in the casting director, her class. And last Saturday, this was I knew this, but it wasn't until I did it that I found out how painfully interesting Hollywood is. We actually ran auditions. She gave us sides. Some of them were from SEAL Team, some were from other shows. And she actually assigned people to play casting director, producer, showrunner, writer. And then everybody would audition, and then they would we ran class like an audition basically. And there was one character, and I'm not this is actually a compliment to everybody that auditioned. She gave us the character description for this set of audition people, and the character it said something like he's strung out, he partied too hard the night before, he's hungover and everything. And one of our actors in the class, he has long hair, he's actually wearing like a rocker leather jacket.
Yep.
He totally fit the character description. He played it like he'd been coked out all night before, he was tired and all that. And I was like, yeah, he matches the character description. His performance matched what this preconceived notion. And then, but just like any other audition, you had to see everybody that was there in the audition room. And we brought in another gentleman, and he's an amazing actor in his own right. He's kind of Eric Stone Street-esque. Speaking of Modern Family.
Yeah.
And he had, he didn't match the character description at all. You didn't picture this guy like doing blow all night long partying. He didn't match the scene, but I would have cast him versus the guy who I would have stereotypically cast, because after I saw his performance, I changed who I would want to see. And it proved in the world of casting and auditions, literally shit happens. You never know. You could match the description. They might not like your eye color. They might not like your height. They might actually see a performance that changes their mind. You might have gone first. Like one girl, a good friend of mine now, she went first in an audition, and it was actually for SEAL Team. Again, it was mock, but they used an old SEAL Team script. The female had to be like, she's like a tough CIA agent trying to bow up to the lead Navy SEAL guy. So it was like this power struggle. Exactly. So I was actually the reader off camera playing David Boreanaz's character. So it was like this basically a dick measuring contest. But the girl had to not come across like this crazy like power monger. And the girl delivered it. She was a little flirty, trying to get what she wanted, and then she left. And then other girls were like, oh, we should have had her do it this way. And then we completely changed our casting eyes after we saw girl number 2, 3, and 4.
Yep.
And girl number 1 didn't get a fair shot at it because we actually adjusted our casting sights after she went. She didn't do bad. And so that's the thing, is it's almost peaceful. It doesn't pay the bills, but it's almost peaceful that there are a million things that are not in our control. Yeah, if you're a shitty actor, that's your fault. But outside of that one thing, there's a million and one things that you can't control. Height, shoes, hair color, eye color. Does the casting director have to go to the bathroom? Do they hate you? Do they remind you of your ex? Do they remind you of your current boyfriend?
It sounds shitty, but that is the actual reality of acting. It really is.
And
like,
it's so...
You might be an amazing actor, but if you don't fit exactly the look that they are picturing for this ad
at
or
that
commercial or movie...
Yeah, but at that moment.
Especially at that moment. You're probably not going to get it.
Yeah.
That's the shitty reality. You could be the most amazing actor in the world, but if you don't fit the look that the client wants for their ad or movie or whatever, you're not getting it.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. I mean, like I booked, it's been a weird season for me. I normally don't book commercials because I have a weird height issue. A lot of people don't want to cast tall guys.
Oh, what? You're 6'4"?
10?
6'6"? You're a tall son of a bitch.
I've booked 2 commercials where when I got the booking, I was like, are you sure? Because they didn't, the role didn't need the guy to be 6.5, nearly 6.5 feet tall. Yeah. Like, I almost talked myself out of the job going, you don't need me. There was literally a clone sitting next to me in the audition room, looked exactly like me, that could do what I did. Whatever. But again, I'm talking out of a job. But anyway, that was that long commentary on basically somebody says you could be great in X, Y, and Z movie. Massively appreciated. Sadly, we have no say in it. Like, it sucks. It's literally who you know. It's
who
a pain
you know
in the ass.
and who through who you know you can get to.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
and
if
it's,
you got a great fucking agent, you can get to some cool people.
yeah.
But
And oddly, a lot of my, I mean, just not even in a name droppy way, but like my Uma Thurman movie, my Navy SEAL team movie.
still hasn't come out. I'm waiting for it.
I know. That's
I
a whole
know.
other side note. A lot of my biggie ones, the movie I was in South Korea shooting, those were all through a friend of a friend, a guy who knew a guy who suggested me, a friend who was on set that day that needed me. It had nothing to do with an agent. And even if, like, WME is a huge agency here in LA, even if it was released to that, my friend who got me that job called me before they sent the audition out to WME. So the city's a shitstorm. There's literally, it sucks. I mean, it doesn't. Yeah, it does suck. I
They're
guess.
literally like and I'll say this because I believe it, and I'm gonna stick by it. But there are a million classes. There are a million different schools of thought. There are a million different fucking people out there trying to tell you this is how you're gonna make it. None of it's true.
Yeah.
Literally none of it.
Yeah.
Because the bottom line is, if you make it, if you making it based on your talent is very unlikely.
Yeah.
Honestly, it sucks, but that's the truth.
Well, I think one of the famous people I follow the most is Will Smith, because I'm bastardizing one of his quotes, but he says something like he goes, I'm not the most talented, but I'm the hardest worker. You can fix talent, but you can't fix work ethic.
No,
you can't. Fix, and that's the thing that, like, just being the last man standing. And in this city, again, it's also timing. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to be, I'm sure you're the same way. If I'm sitting in a cafe and the famous director trips over my ankle and goes, I want to make you famous, it's not like I'm going to go, no. I want to suffer for 10 years. No. I'll be like, where do I sign? Here's my soul. Let's do this.
Nobody wants to suffer that long. Nobody wants to have to put in that much work to get to that fame category. And, like, let me get something straight. I don't give two fucking shits about fame as far as, like, the fame factor. What I give a shit about is what fame can afford me. Like, the opportunity to make something
There's a country song
on my
that
own
says,
fucking shit.
who knows the country song, I don't want to be rich, or country people, help me out here. It says something like, I don't want to be rich, it won't fix my problems, but it'll sure as hell buy me a boat, or something like that. It'll buy me a truck to tow it, or something like that. Country people, please chime in.
Which, by the way, side note, if you're looking for a good way to try to help Jeff or me, you know Jeff better than me, guaranteed. But if you're looking for a way to help us, support more indie films,
Yeah.
honestly, because that's the only way you're going to support us until we, like, hit it big, which could be a long time. Honestly, some actors don't hit it till they're fucking 40. I'm ready for that. Jeff's nearing that. Calm down.
Fraser's dad, the guy that played Fraser's dad,
Oh, that's so
just passed
sad.
away.
He's so good.
He started acting when he was 37.
He's so good.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. There's plenty of examples of people who have made it later in life,
Yeah.
which is why
Liam Neeson. He had like
Exactly.
he had a resurgence.
Which is why, Jeff. Well, not why, but honestly, Jeff has just as good a shot as anybody, and I got just as good a shot as anybody. But Jeff, I feel like a little bit more so just because of,
Connection.
like, he's connected and he's talented. If you don't know how talented Jeff is, from a director standpoint, Jeff's talented as son of a bitch. Like, he's super talented.
I owe him $20 now.
You don't owe me shit. I bought the whiskey. We're good. So, but the bottom line is, if you want to help us out, support indie films, dude. Like, seriously. If you don't know about a movie and you want to watch it, watch the goddamn movie. Seriously.
Well, I think here's the weirdest thing is, like, I don't know the answer, but it's weird because we now live in an age where, whether it's literally social media, Facebook, etc., or just an online presence, that is the fuel. It's just this was a post. Part of my post today was referencing, somebody chimed in when I mentioned like hire the best performer, not the person who has a special skill.
Yeah.
Like, don't hire somebody that's a real doctor. So hire somebody that can act like a good doctor, etc. Somebody chimed in today saying, and don't hire the person with the most social media following. Now,
That's so shitty. I have a whole tangent about that.
I've been in a movie with one of those people,
Oh, my
and that
God.
was the thing that brought, and it was a built-in audience, thus putting money on everybody's account and putting food on everybody's table, because it automatically brought a. You could literally go, this person has 3 million followers. Let's say even half of these people show up to the movie. 1.5 million people are going to pay for $15 tickets. Boom, guaranteed. Doesn't mean they're the best actor, best person cast, but from a producer standpoint, it loosely makes sense. But my point is in this world of social media and supporting indie film it's there aren't theaters showing indie film. I mean, you have to be in like the major markets, LA, Chicago, Atlanta, where they have these weird theaters out in some back alley playing where you rented. Like Scott and I would kill to play. Like I'd actually, anybody that's followed me that's seen the Cowboy Pictures Parallax, I need to get my ass in gear and actually start submitting that to indie festivals. But that's going to be at some random alley theater where I paid them to display it on their screen, where somebody happens to walk by and wants to do a unique date with their girlfriend.
I just have to share this really quick
Yeah.
to interrupt your train of thought. I did a quick Instagram thing.
Uh-oh.
And somebody seeing you asked the question, hold on, is that Rick? All on
No!
Walking Dead. No, it's not Rick.
I'm a foot taller.
Oh,
and
like
I'm not
literally
British.
a full foot. At least a foot. Probably more than that.
Oh, and here, okay. We're all over the place. Okay,
Yeah,
so
fuck
to answer to conclude
BS.
Scott's thing, yeah. Support indie films, and it's a catch-22. Going to them is great.
Mm-hmm.
That gets eyes on. Like Kevin Smith and Clerks, he screened Clerks, was it Cannes? Cannes. So he screened it in France at Cannes Film Festival. And shit, ironically, I think it was Harvey Weinstein was in the audience.
Mm-hmm.
So disregard his fucked up treatment of women. So, I mean, actually, Kevin Smith has a whole like tangent on one of his podcasts on how, no joke, not using the phrase literally in the cliche annoying way, but Harvey Weinstein literally gave Kevin Smith his career. All of his movies, Clerks forward, Good Will Hunting, I think was Weinstein.
Yeah, you're right. Shit.
Kevin Smith, he said in his podcast, his career is based on Weinstein. Like he doesn't know what to do with that knowledge. But anyway, Kevin Smith somehow he got into Cannes, and that's huge. So if he can get indie film in Cannes, that helps. But I believe the theaters were empty, and Weinstein sat in the back and loved it. The rest is history. So yeah, you can go to these movies. You can go to the back alley and watch, Scott and I's movie or my movie or whatever in some back alley indie film theater. But in the world of social media, I think honestly the best way you can help anything is sharing. I think that's really it, is click and share, because in the way social media algorithms are built, sheer saturation of the market gets eyes on. And because I can attribute to most of my gigs, most of my jobs, most of my references to Scott, me, or whomever, based on a guy who knew a guy who saw a post, who knew a guy who saw this post, it's the world we live in. And so seeing those things, saying, hey, like I've even had somebody, the Parallax movie is a perfect example. Anything you see me wearing a cowboy hat in, I've kind of rekindled that movie. People said, oh, I have a friend who did his own stunts. He was in a Western. Let me send it to you. And it's this weird self-perpetuating beast. And that's what you can do is that. Yeah, we can share the new trailer to Deadpool. We can share the new trailer to Marvel, Infinity Wars. Great. But if you see this really cool, nitty-gritty film or even a trailer, because that's all we have the money for, that's the thing, is it has to get on the right people's radars, and again, sharing all this, everybody needs to remember that producer, no matter how pure of heart he is, he could be Jesus himself. At the end of the day, they need to go, is this going to make me money? They can have, Mel Gibson, even when he made Passion of the Christ, he made that because he could. But he still, at the end of the day, wanted to make money. If he made Passion of the Christ early in his career and said, hey, listen, I don't even know who distributed it. Let's say it was Warner Brothers. I'm going to make a movie on Jesus Christ, all in Aramaic, and F you. They're going to be like, screw you, you can't make this. forgive the language, but he got fuck you money.
He did.
He made his movie his way, but he still knew in the back of his head it would make money.
Dude, Mel Gibson's a fucking prick. Like, straight up. Completely 100% asshole.
But
But
his movies make money.
his movies do make money.
So the thing at the end of the day is when you share it, when you post it, when you send it to a friend who knows a producer who did a reality show, who was an intern on CBS or whatever, at the end of the day, just like any other business, sharing that, the people need to go, how is this? Okay, there's extreme people that are like, oh, how is this going to buy me a yacht? Scott and I are like, how is this going to put food on my table?
Exactly.
But regardless, the common ground we have is how is this going to help me put money in my pocketbook to survive?
Okay, look, I'm gonna for a lot of people who are listening, if you care, which you probably don't, and that's fine. Talking about that, something that me and Jeff come into contact with on a regular basis, and your biases are welcome. Instagram followers. There are literally, they've been casting parts based on people's Instagram followers. I worked
with one.
I know you did. I know you did.
And he seems like a good dude, don't get me wrong.
And that's the thing is, like, you know, you could argue that maybe these people are talented. Sure. Fine. Okay? Great. Me, for example, I don't have a lot of Instagram followers. And that's not me saying I want them. I don't. I don't fucking want them. The only people I need following me are people that I know or like or have conversations with. I don't give a fuck about the general populace. No offense. But, like, this is something we come into, like, encounters with on a daily basis. Yeah. They are casting, and there are casting notices that literally say, include your Instagram handle, include your followers, so we know, because all they give a shit about is, can we market this? Can we get people to pay for it? And if you have a lot of followers, you can probably get people to pay for it. Yeah. If you don't, why bother? Doesn't matter how talented they are, why bother? And that's not me trying to be like, oh, me and Jeff are crazy talented. Because I'm the first person to walk out of putting my head up his own ass, okay? Like, I don't think I'm that talented. The fact that anybody thinks I'm talented is amazing to me. If I write something and send it to you, and you're like, it's good, I'm like, you're crazy.
But
the point is, like, if you want to see movies with people who are literally, actually talented, and you want to see something different than what you're used to, indie films, not fucking people who are Instagram famous. Because, no offense, fuck those people. I'm sorry, but fuck those people. Like, they don't do anything. They take a picture of themselves, they post a witty comment maybe, and hashtag just the right amount to get people to like or follow.
Yep.
That's not talent, dude. That's maybe a genius side of marketing.
Basically, yeah. It'd be like, okay, I always come back to my father's an emergency room physician, and I use him as a metaphor a lot of times, especially when I was in Colorado. Huge disclaimer, no offense to anybody in Colorado, but my dad couldn't work for free when he was a new doctor. So people that do the copy credit gas, we get why you have to do that, but it doesn't put food or gas in our gas tank. We need money. But I also look at the flip side of that of just a minute, where was I going with that? Just a minute. Oh, the Instagram follower thing. It'd be an insult if they said, well, we want a physician. We're not so concerned about his skills, but how many patients has he had?
Exactly.
Who cares how good the patients or how like it's literally it is a calculable popularity contest, and I hate that I agree with the producer side of it, because like I said, if you have a guy that has 5 million followers and half of them come in, that's 2,500,000 followers, and they paid $15 a ticket. They can do the math to figure out, okay, cool, we made our money back.
Especially if you can.
But it's a slap in the face.
Fucking post about it.
Yeah, exactly. So exactly, it's free advertising. So whenever I post, I posted the shit out of SEAL Team. They didn't ask that. I'm not one of the recurring characters. I'm not a lead role. I love the show. I love the tech guys. I love everybody who got me involved. I love. Disclaimer. But they didn't ask me to tag the shit out of it. Again, I'm a huge following, but they got free advertising.
Yep.
Tons of free advertising. I used their logo. I used images from the set. They got tons of free advertising. But if I had 5 million followers, and then with all the new algorithms of Facebook, and like a lot of you have seen this just in the personal world, Facebook is force implemented this algorithm of like who your friends are and what friends you're gonna see. That's just between friends, like Scott and I as friends. Excuse me. That's not even counting businesses that like survive, like Pauline's Fight or Die, me on my pro page. That doesn't count like businesses that survive off of these algorithms. So now that they're forcing these algorithms down their throat, people are going to be like, oh, we need the guy that has 5 million followers, that fancy blue check mark, and if he posts, hey, watch my movie, boom, free advertising. So it's a retarded catch-22.
As a teacher,
how's that?
This is important for those of you with kids. As a teacher, let me tell you, on a daily basis, I have to tell your fucking kids that these YouTube personalities who are literally dickheads are not talented, are not people they should be interested in because they don't know any better. Logan Paul, if you know who that is. If you don't, I had one of my students come in talking to me just without prompting, telling me how Logan Paul is his hero prior to all the scandal.
That's a painful.
And prior to all the scandal, which it was already there, frankly, I have to tell this kid, this is not somebody you should follow. This is not somebody you should feel is important because they're a dick. They're a complete piece of shit asshole who is profiting off of other people's misery or, like, literal racist shit. That is what they're doing. And your kids are eating it up. They literally are. Because they don't know any better. Especially with our, like, not to get political, with our president. I don't give a fuck who you voted for. I really don't.
Yeah.
But frankly, if you're not taking care of what your kids are taking in, especially with who we have in our head office, you're an idiot. You are an idiot. Because you are wrong if you think your kid is smart enough not to be swayed by the public opinion.
Somebody had, not random tangent, somebody had an interesting point. What if ex-president had Twitter and used it to the point, like, everybody,
If
this isn't political taking sides.
It isn't.
But let's say, okay, so obviously Trump is insane with Twitter to the point, good, bad, or indifferent. But let's say some controversial President X used Twitter, had Twitter, and engaged in Twitter as much as Trump. Are we blown away that it's Trump, or are we blown away by his content or his use of? Like, let's say name a controversial president. Nixon. Let's say he had access and used Twitter to the degree Trump does. We would, I think, and this isn't political. I suck at politics. I blatantly, ignorantly dive away from him. But let's say he went crazy on Twitter, like, oh, I just went into this hotel and burned some papers. We would be like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that. I think it's just, this is the first president to just go, yep, I'm using this, and this is all I'm using.
For anybody that thinks maybe I'm being overdramatic, I am a technology teacher. That's my job. That's what pays my bills right now until I get movie shit going. I had a student not 3 months ago come into my classroom with his peers doing the literal Nazi march. Salute, stomp, and march. And I had to send him to the office. And he didn't understand why that was wrong. Why is that wrong? Because it is, right? Why is it wrong? These are what your kids are doing.
Oh my God, I don't even
I'm not
words
kidding.
for that.
I'm not fucking kidding. That is a literal thing that happened.
You know what's funny?
I hate getting political, frankly.
Yeah.
Because my opinion is not the same as anybody else's, more often than not. And that's fine. But be educated. Be educated about what your kids are doing. Please, for Christ's sake, pay attention to what your kids are doing.
But here's an interesting argument, and this was brought up with you. I'm sure you've heard of the book. I just forgot the author. The book is called Tribe. Do you know the book?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the book, I can't remember the author. Forgive me. I have it sitting 20 feet from here. It's called Tribe, and it's basically on the premise of tribal societies, people that conglomerated and work together to survive, etc. And it talks about how comparing the tribal mentality to how we live today, and it was a really interesting revelation. And we aren't in a world where we need to survive or where we need to do the right thing, etc., etc.
Nope.
And Joe Rogan's had that author on his podcast a couple times, and he mentioned how, ironically, to Scott, probably more me than Scott, and this isn't a compliment to myself, actually, it's actually an insult. I use social media as much of a tool as humanly possible, but one of my goals is to not need it as a tool, but to use it as what it is a social tool. None of us on social media are social anymore. I don't know who all my friends are. Social media is not social anymore. I want to get to the point where social media can be social, where I have 30 friends and I know who they are. But it's an ironic paradox in that social media, phones, telephones, iPods, iPads, we're driving, look at our iPhone. All these things are actually influencing us to the point where we're no longer human. There's kids going, I'm going to do this Nazi march. Why? I don't know, because some other kid did it. And I actually have a flip phone.
Because they think it's fucking funny.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing, it's ironic in that, X amount of years ago before the internet, I want to say 96. I remember, here's a little bit of truth.
You're not dating
90s.
yourself.
Well, it's not a dating myself here thing, but I want to come across as an innocent and pure Catholic. But in 1996, when I went off to college, I was like, sweet, porn. But my dorm only had text, HTML internet. So it would be like ... bracket image. I'm like, oh, what's the image? Click on the image, and it was a bar. I'm like, oh, so you had to guess which image actually was the image that you wanted to see. So this was the world I lived in, where you had to earn your knowledge, you had to earn your research, you had to actually earn what you looked for. And so prior to that, though, you actually had to go to a book, you had to go to a library, you had to look in books, you had to use the Dewey Decimal System.
You actually had to use your goddamn brain.
Yeah, so some kid wanted to know, hey, what's the Nazi March? He had an innate filter system that was activated by the fact he had to go down to his bike, drive to the library, go look it up, go take the time. So there was like this inherent forced pause before you took out an act, before you engaged or posted a tweet. There was this huge forced delay before you could actually do something stupid, where you would make an ass of yourself. Whereas now you're like, Nazi March, oh, these kids are cool, I'm going to do it too. There's no consequence, there's no delay, there's no forced repercussions. Where if you, again, I'm a massive podcast listener, I think Joe Rogan, again, was talking to some psychologist today, where if your tweets had to be forced through like some public relations agency before you could actually post it.
Yep.
They're referencing, I forgot the person, but she said something, it was a comedian, she said something like, oh crap, I have AIDS. Oh wait, no I don't, I'm white. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
She made a comment like that, whereas if that went through public relations agencies, there would be a massive pause. They'd be like, don't post that, count to 10, it wouldn't have never been posted. However, now she's negative famous because of this post, where that's the life we grew up in, where Scott and I had to get on our bike, go down to the library, use the Dewey Decimal System, and go, God, this is too much work. The Nazi March is a bad thing.
I have kids literally today, because this is why I'm talking about it. I teach Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. There's Monday. I have kids on a regular basis who literally say this phrase to me in computer class. I'm done with my work. can I play games?
Oh.
Kids don't give a shit. They never have, really.
Their
They,
endpoint.
especially now, don't give a shit about what they're learning. They don't. And if you think they do, you're wrong.
Yeah, they're shooting for the end point.
Please pay attention to your fucking kids. As a fucking teacher in the world right now, please pay attention to your kids.
And I mean, that's a weird thing. Is like Pauline and I have no. Everybody gets on this weird thing about kids. Pauline and I have no no plans on having kids for many reasons. That's a whole nother topic. But I honestly can't imagine having kids in this world.
I can't.
I
really
could
can't.
if I was in like Montana and a little bit more like delayed when it comes to the
maybe
disaster.
Off in the wilderness.
Yeah, exactly. You
like,
had to be
off
like
in the wilderness, maybe.
some secluded
in today's
cabin.
world.
Yeah.
Fuck that, dude. Like,
God.
good luck to all of you who have kids, because
Yeah.
frankly, you're in for your fucking work, dude. you are in for some work.
Yeah, I can't. Holy shit.
I teach kindergarten through 8th grade. And I can tell you, as a person who teaches computer technology to kindergarten through 8th grade,
Nice deep sigh.
your kids are intelligent, but they're easily molded.
That's an interesting thing is with social media, the internet. You know, like I remember when I had to write research papers, you could only use like one internet source. The rest
Yep.
had to actually be like textbooks and cited sources and all that. Now information is so instant and instantly readily available.
Instant gratification.
Yeah. To a
Get
morbid,
what you want
morbid fault.
in the snap of a fucking finger.
God help you guys.
It sucks. Like, it's amazing for what it can do, but for your kids' attention spans and what they're willing to learn or listen to, it fucking sucks, dude. Like, seriously. I'm telling you, as a person who's teaching these kids, it sucks. You got these kids who are like, well, what about this? And you just sitting there like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You're clued into an internet full of people who have wrong opinions.
Yeah, and that's
about
the thing that
so many things.
and that's the thing that blows my mind is I don't have kids and I don't know the answer because it's ironic because if you have some again blanket judgment nerd kid
Yep.
that uses the internet to its advantage, uses social media to his or her advantage, uses online libraries that they never would have had access to their advantage. Holy shit, the world is their oyster. But that sadly is the minority. 9 times out of 10, some kid wants to look at like, hey, let's look at this stunt guy that like smashed his head on the side of a pool, or some kid that wants to look at like porn early in his age. There's all the it's not working as an advantageous tool. It's
not.
It's like
Look.
I bought a flip phone and I can't it's been sitting there charging for 2 weeks and I'm a victim of the same reality of the internet leash.
Okay, frankly, from a writing standpoint, flip phones, if you're a writer, are amazing because they don't follow the same rules as smartphones, so you can do whatever you want.
What?
Really.
Explain.
The only reason I'm talking about that is because I recently wrote a movie that involves flip phones.
Ah.
I sent it to you. That's the one.
Oh, is that the one? Okay,
it's
cool.
The one we wrote on
Well, it's
Sunday.
funny because that flip phone I during most of the business day I have it forwarded, my iPhone forwarded to that, so it's trivial and it's juvenile, but that way I know if somebody calls me, it's important and that person actually needs to get a hold of me.
By the way, this is completely unrelated, but those of you with kids, I want you to think carefully about how you thought about the opposite sex or same sex, depending on who you are, when you were roughly 8th or 9th grade. The only reason why I'm saying that is, with social media the way it is, I have had, not kidding, literally 2 students in the last 2 years poorly try to pick me up. 8th grade students, get control of your fucking kids. Please.
You're shitting me.
I'm not kidding.
Oh
Mr. Scott, would you spoil the girl? Handle your children, please.
Oh my god.
Talk to your kids. I'm serious. I hate though I'm the one doing this because I'm younger than this guy, frankly. But the fact that I have to be the one to say this sucks. It really does.
Oh my god, if a kid hit on me, I'd be so...
It's completely uncomfortable
I would have
for
to go to
so
I'd have to
many
go to
reasons.
confession.
For so many reasons. But frankly, the bottom line is, look, there's too many parents just letting their kids run around with social media unchecked. There's bullying, okay? There's sexual pressure. There's drug pressure. And these kids are going through it on a daily basis because of social media.
Well, I remember, okay, this is way embarrassing. But, like I said, back to HTML internet. My dorm, my first year of college, I was like, oh my god, I'm free. I'm out in the big world in Seattle. I'm going to college. Oh my god, they have this thing called the internet. And it wasn't AOL where you heard the dial tone and the weird connection sound. I was like, oh, this is going to be amazing. I can't wait to see what this internet's all about. How old are you when you go to college? Freshman year, 18?
Mm-hmm.
17?
About
I was
17,
18 years old, feeling embarrassed and shy and reserved and hesitant about anything I looked at. And I couldn't even get it to boot up because I was clicking on image, and it was a bar image, and it was like a random graphic. I could never find what I was looking for, and when I found like a porn thing, I was like, oh, close, quick. And that was like at 17, 18 years old.
And the funny thing is, I completely commiserate with that. And I was trying to just find fucking Star Wars shit. I wasn't even trying to find porn. I was trying to find Star Wars shit.
No, I did that too. But my point is now that the internet is instant and accessible, there are 12, 13, 14, or even younger boys and girls that have access to this stuff that was the rain we almost did our podcast in.
That's kind of crazy, actually.
There's so much shit on that.
That's
patio.
loud. That's actually loud. For California, that's a big deal.
We're having a rainstorm. It's going to be a flood tomorrow. But there are 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old boys and girls that see what made Scott and I blush in college.
Yep.
And
they just they take it in as everyday bullshit. They really do.
Yeah.
It's just another fucking Monday for them.
Oh, I can't fathom that.
Your kids have a deeper and frankly more disturbing understanding of the way things are. And if you don't believe that's true, look at what they're following. I guarantee you'll be surprised by at least one thing. You will.
Yeah, this is rare. So this woman says, I have 2 boys. One is serving this is extreme spectrum.
I actually read it already.
Did you? I have 2 boys. One is serving in Afghanistan. The other is shy, quiet, and stays close to family. He is not a big net junkie. That is unheard of.
It really is. And frankly, if your kid is not a
Whatever you did, good.
Seriously, he's right. Whatever you did, if your kid is not a serious net junkie, not a bad thing. If he uses it only for finding out information or looking up information, fantastic. You're on the right track.
Well, and here's what's funny is again, I'm going back to a podcast I happen to be listening to today with Joe Rogan, and I forgot the psychologist's name. But it's funny that there's this huge, it's one extreme to the other, and now everybody's like, oh, freak out, get a flip phone and get off the internet because it's ruining my life. If you're one of
Get off the grid.
Yeah. There are jobs and careers. You know, Pauline's is a perfect example. Her fighter diet is very internet based. Sadly, playing the game, a lot of upcoming actors need the internet to get exposure.
True story.
But right hand to God, prior to becoming like actually committing and swearing to putting food on my table, acting, so that would be firefighting or military, there is no need to be online. Like,
nope.
I connect, like, my mom, like, that, sadly, she knows I'm alive because of the Facebook, which is good because, you know, poor mom and I suck as a son sometimes. I don't call my mom as much as I should. So
I get that.
Yeah, God bless my mom that's how she establishes communication. Her and I actually interact for what I think on the purest sense Facebook was designed for, to communicate and stay in touch with friends and family, like college friends, like that you never would have stayed in touch with. I mean, Facebook has ruined class reunion, like school, high school reunions. What's the point? You're in touch.
I didn't go to my 10.
There's no point anymore. So if you don't have to be online, like, right hand to God, the minute I cannot need internet, I will get off the internet.
You think that sounds crazy, but honestly, it's true. Especially if you're a person with any kind of creative outlet.
Yeah.
Get off the internet. It'll be the best thing you do.
Yeah, because if you're I dabble in painting. I try to put food on my table acting. Scott is, you know, he writes, he acts, etc. Doing that on Facebook, posting a picture of a script, posting a picture of a painting, that actually serves no purpose. If you have an online business, okay, cool, so be it. You have to post your business, but you know, my father's a physician. He doesn't need to drive business to his emergency room. Idiots drive his business to his emergency room. People cutting their legs off and getting in car accidents drive business to the emergency room.
People do stupid shit every day.
But it's God, this is deep. Anyway, let's see what else. Let's lighten this up a little. I stirred as well, but I prefer to talk about service animals. I had an interesting topic I wanted to bring up.
On the topic of service animals, I don't have one. However, Jeff did live with me for a short amount of time.
Scott and I are roommates.
That's true. Izzy, his dog, I love. And having seen Izzy, which she does in fact remember the time she spent, because if she didn't, she wouldn't get off the fucking cushion. But she does. She's got a hurt knee, and she still tries to come up and lick me or have me pet her. Because she's amazing. She's a great little dog. Service animals, I think, if they are legitimate, are important. Especially because more often than not, like Jeff, for example, and he's not quite as like a severe case.
Yeah.
But vets, people who have experienced extreme craziness, extreme danger, extreme bullshit, if they have a service animal, there's no reason in hell anybody should be fighting them. There's really not. I've seen Izzy. I've met Izzy. I met Izzy day one when I met Jeff, more or less.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I traveled.
You traveled
our second
with your dog.
job. Yeah, he actually hired me to... But yeah, shit, that's right. Road trip with Alicia.
Whatever you think about service animals, there are people who genuinely need them. They genuinely do.
Wait, Paris Hilton and her Chihuahua.
No. I'm sorry. I don't know a lot about Paris Hilton. I don't know about a lot about what she's been through. So I could be wrong. But frankly, Paris Hilton needing a fucking service dog. Get out of here. Jeff needing a service dog, I buy that 100%. Jeff's been through some shit. He's had to do some shit. There are a lot of people out there who have had to deal with shit or be through shit, and they deserve their service animal.
Yeah. I even run into some people at Gold's, like dudes straight up missing limbs that make me go, yeah, I'm going to leave Izzy at home because this person genuinely needs a second set of hands, literally. It's an interesting... Oh, God. K-Rock did a joke on it where people are getting away and, like, now various airlines are actually establishing limitations on what can be used. Like, because some people are using, like, service squirrels.
I saw a
tarantulas.
I saw a post of somebody trying to do a service peacock. Come on. Get real. Get the fuck out of here. A peacock? Get out of here.
I'm going to hit pause on this.
That's fine.
And we'll do part 2.